So I got a question for you.
What's your question, Dieter?
The Warriors win game one in a pretty impressive fashion. James Harden has a good game. Kevin Durant has a good game. But the Warriors, because they're the Warriors, win by double digits here in Houston.
Yeah.
And it sounded like, from what the Rockets were saying here today at practice and the day off, that they're just going to kind of do the same thing that they did in game one in game two. So my question is, why would the Rockets do that if they want to win?
Well, on a very basic level, it makes sense, right? I mean, they played the style and it got them to the Western Conference Finals, the best record in the league. And, you know, it's the reason why they're here. It's the reason why James Harden probably is going to be the MVP, should be the MVP this year, by playing this style. So on a basic level, it's like, yo, this is what got us here. This is what's going to happen. The problem lies is you played your best and it didn't work out for you, and you're not going to make any adjustments. Where it seems like, you know, when James Harden's super efficient, you know, we have a good line from Chris Paul, 8 of 17 from the field. On a basic level, like this is kind of what you wanted, and you still lost. You kind of want to,
and you didn't just lose like small. You lost big.
Yes.
Like the Warriors put this team in a chokehold in the second half and just put them to sleep.
And not even playing their best game.
No, that's the crazy part. Like what happens when Steph Curry knocks down a bunch of threes?
Yes.
What happens when Klay Thompson knocks down every single one of the 15 open shots he had last night? Like what happens when Kevin Durant doesn't have a small spurt, or Steve Kerr doesn't take a small spurt where he misses a couple shots and Steve Kerr takes him out inexplicably for a couple minutes? What happens then? What happens when Draymond Green doesn't come out way too hot? The Warriors don't do all that well off the jump. The Hamptons 5 lineup doesn't do squat for you, and you have to go to Kevon. Like, what happens then? What happens when Andre Iguodala's not in foul trouble? Like, again, it wasn't the Warriors' best game, and I think you're right. I think that was the Rockets' best effort, and I guess it's commendable that they're going to double down. But, like, game 2 is the series. The Rockets have no chance of winning this series, period, point blank, if they lose game 2. We're talking about 4 or 5 at that juncture.
We both saw Chris, we both saw James, we both saw Mike. Did you see a level of urgency that you would wanted to see out of a team that's going into a game 2 after they lost a game 1 like that? Did you see what you would have wanted to see out of a team based on what they were talking about, based on how they were talking towards game 2?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't want to infer too much, right? Every team has different personalities. We're not around these Rockets all that much. Sure. So I don't want to infer too heavily, but we've seen the Warriors now totally locked in for let's say 10 days since game 4 of that New Orleans series. Like they've been crazed in the eyes. Yeah. They've totally locked in. I don't see anything like that from this Rockets team.
No,
I don't see anything.
Which is weird because they've talked
they've talked a lot of stuff
all year about, you know, this is what they wanted. You would think that they'd be, you know, they would have a certain level of locked-endedness.
They're supremely confident in something that I would have a hard time being confident in after that Game 1 performance. Yeah, this is a little bit disconcerting, and I think that the bigger thing is, again, it wasn't the Warriors' best game, and the comment that really stood out to me from today's media availability wasn't anything that the Warriors said. Warriors are being the Warriors, same stuff, different day. What stood out to me was James Harden's we didn't come out with enough swag. I'm like, I don't think swag's your problem. I think team defense is your problem. I think that the fact that you're not moving off the ball is your problem.
Well, I think that Chris also said something about the defense, and he did say something that could be correctable. Like, I'll just go out on a rotation that I messed up on. That's something that I can do better personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think on a level
that
on
helps.
that,
yeah.
On a level on that, and honestly, I don't know if I'd read too much into the James quote that much, because at the end of the day,
swag doesn't matter.
Swag doesn't matter. But I think I wouldn't look into just having a swag, because I think that's just a very on brand
for sure
Harden quote. I don't think we're going to get into the ethos of what he's thinking based off of that quote.
You're 100% right. Like that is very Harden, and that's not different. I mean, we've known that all year, that's something that it's kind of a catch-all term for him. Yeah, the swag. But
that could be defense. You know what I mean? That could be, you know, we want to. That could be him saying that he wants to, you know, do better on rotations defensively.
My argument on this is I don't think it's an effort issue. I mean, clearly there's a lot of things that the Rockets can clean up. There's a lot of things that the Warriors can clean up. I think there's a system problem here. I think that there's a tactical disadvantage at play.
Right.
And if they're not, I guess there's no reason to give away your tactics before the game. But if they were given some misdirection, if they were putting up smoke screens, they did a hell of a job of selling it here today, because it sounded like they're going to go down the way they want. They're gonna maintain their honor in this, and like I feel like that's kind of a defeatist attitude. Like I would appreciate some pragmatism from this Rockets team and try to mix some stuff up, because maybe that system maybe they think that system can beat the Warriors, but now they have to beat the Warriors in 4 out of the next 6 games to advance to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Do you believe that's going to happen?
No.
I don't. So maybe mix some stuff up, because if you don't do it in Game 2, it's too late.
Yes. That's something we're gonna have to see, man. I think that like we could be this dead horse, but I mean we're gonna see it in Game 2. I think that but ultimately I think the Warriors' adjustments in their best is just gonna outweigh them in this series. I wouldn't be surprised if they just take Game 2 as well. I mean,
that was my prediction coming in. They would take Game 2. They would lose Game 3 because they let their guard down, and then they would take 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I don't think they're losing Game 3 if they win Game 2, because this again, they got the crazy guys right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like now it's a question of like over under 9.5 games left in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, over under 8.5 at this after Game 1 win. Like that's where we're at with this Warriors team right now. A lot of things can change. A lot of things can happen. One twisted ankle, everything goes the wrong way. But like, man, these playoffs are going to be boring again if everything continues the way it did in Game 1. And it sounds like the Rockets are cool with that. So we'll have to see tomorrow. Could be interesting. Could be fun. Rockets gave a pretty good game.
I'm looking forward to seeing it before he comes through again.
Well, let's give real fast. Who were the rappers at the show? It was Travis Scott was here. Yep.
Bun B, I heard, was here.
He was.
Trill.
Yeah.
And we got E40 coming in as well. So and also big shout out to OG Chase B, who was Travis Scott's DJ. He was also
you dapped him up though. So that's the only reason you're doing it.
I mean, he's a big deal in these hype beast streets we out here.
Okay. Well, I'm never in the hype beast streets, but I am here in Houston. You're here in Houston.
Yes,
We're going to be here in Houston tomorrow for Game 2. What could be the series? Let's just
could be
call
our
it what it
last
is.
time in Houston for the season.
Yeah. Which remember when we all thought this was going to be a 7-game series? That was fun. We'll have to find out. But Game 2, it's a big one. Stay with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow.